Okay, good morning. Let's start Tanya. So we're doing Tanya for Thursday, page 72. And we are continuing discussion about that the world was created by the name of God, or through the name of God, the Yud and the Hey. But if you remember exactly what we said was the Yud creates the higher world, the world to come, the spiritual worlds, and the Hey creates the physical world. Right? That was what we said from the Gemara. We explained why, because the Yud is more the point, the essence of a communication rather than the body of the communication, and that represents a more sublime, less delineated expression. Rather, the Hey, which is his length and width, as a Hey, has a vertical line and a horizontal line representing the length and breadth of an idea. Um, um, the length and breadth of an idea that represents more the body of the speech, and that's expressed in the physical worlds. However, the truth is, we said everything is created by speech, not only the physical world, also the spiritual worlds. So why is it said that the spiritual worlds are by the Yud, the nexus point, the undefined, the kind of the more essential expression, and the physical worlds are by the width and breadth. So we now come to an exposition of why our sages of blessed memory said that specifically this world, the physical world, was created by the Hey. This is known to all the wise of heart concerning the multitude of worlds and Hechalot, the many worlds and palace chambers which are innumerable. As it's written and referred to God's spiritual chambers, those regiments have a number. He's endless. Each Heichal or palace or chamber and regiment of angels comprise a finite but prodigious number of angels. As it's written, 1,000,000 serve him and myriad of myriads. Similarly, all the levels of souls belonging to the five general categories of Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chai, Yechida in rungs to no end. Um, oh, shoot. Okay. All the levels of souls are to no end. And likewise, there are numberless levels in all the worlds and Hechalot from among the multitudes of Hechalot that exist in the worlds of Atzila Briyatzia. All these hosts of creating beings, then, one multitude beyond another ad infinitum, all issue and flow from the multitudinous combinations of the 22 letters of the Word of God, which in turn divide into a further profusion of combinations to no end. As stated in Sefer Yetzirah, 7 stones build 5,040 houses, words. So 7 letters can be configured in 5,040 ways. From here onward, from the sum of 8 and on, go ahead and calculate that which the mouth is unable to express. So you can have many so we see that the worlds are created by divine speech, letters, in different combinations, and not just quantity, but also qualitatively. The though among the rungs and levels of all the angels and souls, there's so many distinct kinds of levels and rungs ad infinitum, one surpassing the other. These variations of levels exist because they all come to being according to the permutations on page 74. In the various letter combinations and letter substitutions of aleph to taf, bet to shin, because you can also basically you can combine the words. You can also substitute letters for the other letters representing other letters. This is all explained in chapter 12 of Shar Yichud V'Emunah, which is in the set we did earlier. In a general way, they all possess wisdom, all created beings, wisdom and knowledge that they all know their creator, because their life force stems from the inwardness of the letters, which issue from the supreme Chachma as mentioned above. This lowly world, however, with the life force that is found within it, is too small to contain and endure the light and life force that proceed from the form and inwardness of the letters. This lowly world with the life force that is found within is too small to contain and endure the light and life force that perceive in the form and inwardness of the letters. This lowly world is too small for this light and life force to be able to radiate and diffuse in it without any garment or concealment, as they radiate and diffuse to the souls and angels. Instead, the radiation diffusion comes and flows to this world from the matter, body, or externality of the letters. This is page 75 in the Chayinu. This is called breath. Are you on the website?
Yeah, we finally
fine.
found it.
Yeah, fine.
This is called the breath. So it's a little bit Kabbalistic here, but the basic idea is that we said speech has a physical part of it and a metaphysical part of it. The physical part is the breath, and the depiction of the intent of the saying ba, ga, like the letters or the words that you're intending to express. That is the intent. That's the soul. The physical world is in the metaphor of speech is more from the physical part of the God's speech, the breath. And it divides into the 7 breaths of the famous verse in the Ecclesiastes in Kohelet, on which the world stands as taught in the Holy Zohar. The world exists only by virtue of the 7 breaths uttered by King Solomon. This is the utterance that issues forth from God's mouth, which is vested in this world and all its hosts to animate them. In this utterance is vested the form of the letters of speech and thought, emanating from his holy attributes and his will and wisdom and so on, which are utterly incorporated in the blessed Ein Sof. This is the utterance that comes from God's mouth, which is vested. And this utterance is vested the form of the letters of speech and thought, emanating from his holy attributes and his will and wisdom and so on, which are utterly incorporated in the blessed. What does it mean? The form, meaning the intent, the inner part of the speech. Yeah. Okay, this is what Rabbi, page 76, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, the Arizal said, of blessed memory, that the external aspects of the vessels of the Sphira of Malchut, of the world of Tzilot, these external aspects being alluded to by the lower hay of the 4-letter name of God, the Son became the soul for the world of Asiya. It's like we're saying the Tikkunim, that the Yud is the world of Atzilot, the upper hay in the world of Bria, the Vav in the Yetzirah, and the lower hay in the Siya. The bottom line is we're leading up to tomorrow. We're going to explain what does it mean that someone who gives charity makes the name of God. So first we talked about what is the name of God, relevant to the world. Well, the different letters of God's name represent different levels of creation. The Yud represents the spiritual worlds. The Hey represents the physical world. And we explained that in the language of the metaphor of the Torah of creation of speech. Speech has a breath and speech has inner intent. Now, the spiritual worlds are also created via the breath to some degree. but not as much. Not as much. They're more cognizant of, they're more cognizant of the inner desire of God in the speech, versus the lower world. The physical world is more aware in the default setting of just the physicalness of stuff, the physicality of stuff. And it doesn't always realize that there's a inner intent within the physical. I mean, you could, but it's harder. So we'll see what it means to make God's name. We'll talk about tomorrow, because we talked about God's name has different components. And I didn't read yet tomorrow's, but I'm guessing it's going to say you're going to bring both perspectives of the different